Now let's see what is your appetite for bullshit. Stock markets create wealth for small investors. Small investor. The price is shifting every minute. On what basis? The bomb explodes in Jumri Talaiya. The newspaper reports security wars drop prices. Now which investor is worrying about a bomb exploding in Jumri Talaiya when he's buying shares of Tata Steel? Moody's downgrades State Bank of India. It's a bank, okay? It's not the Reserve Bank of India. You talk about the declining global outlook. Then the finance minister says, maybe, just maybe, and he said this about, he and his predecessor said about 30 times in the last 10 years. Maybe we'll liberalize FDI and retail. And the price goes up. Now, how is a software company concerned with whether the retail FDI is opened or not? And they talk about optimism of midterm policy review. Who's making this stuff up? I want to know which journalist sits around making this bullshit up when he could be spending time making money on the stock market. He could be making billions if he understood any of this. Why is he a journalist? So how do you take care of this Bombay Sensex? You look at some bullish shares that are always on the high, and those are part of the basket that you used to calculate. The moment something was bad news, you take it off the list. So the Sensex itself is biased, right? The Sensex is not an accurate reflection of what's happening in the total market. That sounds like selective cherry picking of facts to present the picture you want to present. So here's what I think. I think market sentiment is hogwash. Okay? Somebody is moving the market. So small investor who's sitting on the outside, he has no access to any information, he knows nothing. He can't find out anything. He can't do anything about it. Because if he does something about it, he's screwed for insider trading. But the big guys, the insiders, are trading all the time and it's okay. What is this fundamental based trading? If the company is fundamentally valuable and the asset value is going up and business is going up, then I will invest in it. In the long run, it will all work out. That's bullshit. Because what's happening is that promoters, directors, their plans, the truth about the company, all this is not known to you. There's stuff going on that you don't understand. And you're just looking at the surface. And you're basing your fundamentals projection based on that. But those may not be the fundamentals. The truth may be very different. I mean, ask Raju. You guys were punting in Satyam, your asses would have been wiped clean, okay? Fundamentals are good. You can never make money on unknowable unknowns. All trading is insider trading. The world runs by very different rules from what we are told is how it actually runs. Most of us really have no idea how it runs. And we see these little bits and pieces, and to us that is reality. Basically, they filled us with bullshit. And we are living that as reality. Okay, Harshad Mehta was a fantastic guy. I don't have the data on him here. I know he lived in a 15,000 square foot penthouse flat in South Bombay which had a private swimming pool. This guy had fantastic one-liners. He was a bull on the BSC. So when they asked him, what justifies this, he said that India has a turnaround script and I'm bullish on it. He had those kind of filmy lines. He was a great guy, he was a media darling. Everybody loved him. What he did was, he used interbank, ready forward, secured short-term loans to fund a bull run on the stock market. Here are the facts. He persuaded the Bank of Karad and the Metropolitan Cooperative Bank to issue bank receipts for a fee. These fake BRs he used to collaterally secure loans from other banks. He then used that money from those banks to drive up share prices. So Times of India broke the story. Prices crashed. Banks were left holding 4,000 crores of BRs. One man. I can't remember how many small investors committed suicide, but it wasn't two. The chairman of Vyasa Bank jumped off the building and died. There are two models of the story. I've written one here. One is, if you have enough ready cash, you can always move the market. The second moral of the story is don't get too big for your boots. Move the market a little, make a little money, keep your mouth shut, keep a low profile, you're okay. You get very big, somebody will take you down. Because then some journalist will start figuring out who you really are. Because you're worth taking down. The little scamster is not worth taking down. Who remembers Ketan Bharat? Oh, 10 years later on speech day, March 1st, 2001, stock markets crash. 8 small investors committed suicide. So if you're a small investor, personally I would not bet on you staying alive too long. Ketan Bharat picks up 10 low liquidity stocks. Why low liquidity? Because he can drive up prices with very little funds. So he purchases these shares cheaply. He pledges the shares to banks. He uses the loans to buy more shares. Then he pledges those shares. Then he buys more. And so on till he whips up prices to unbelievable levels. Then, second thing he does is, this Ahmedabad-based Madhavapura Mercantile Cooperative Bank issues pay orders against checks. Ketan Bharat gives checks to a bank and says, "Bhai, ek mahine mein cash kar le." Against that, they issue a pay order. Pay orders, pay order like a bank loan. Yeah, they issue a pay order. He then discounts a pay order with a second bank. He gets cash, which he gives to KP Group companies. Now these KP Group companies become purchasers of more shares. Money for nothing, checks for free, right? So Bank of India complained. At that point, Quotient shares lost 67% of value in 60 days. You will commit suicide here if you walk your house to do this. He went free, huh? He spent 1 year in jail, that's all. That's like being gated, right? Your daddy caught you smoking. So now, what's happening right now in the stock market today? Suppose your name is, it's all infotech, right? So let's think of some nice mythological infotech names like Indra Lakshmi Infotech or Rashtra Data Medics. Yeah? Or Sugriv Software. Are you buying Sugriv Software? Nobody wants to buy you. Non-starter. What you do is you go to Gujarat. You can also go to Calcutta. Yeah, I forgot to mention Calcutta. You can also go to Calcutta. And they will guarantee that you will have an oversubscribed issue, but they want a commission upfront in cash. Okay. The commission is as low as 10%, it's as high as 50%, meaning 100 crore issue, they want 50 crores. How do you do it? Intercorporate deposit. Don't logo say, and say the moment the IPO is through, I'll return your money. But if you show it in your books of accounts, then your share price crashes because this company has too much debt. Correct? You can't show it. So IPOs begin with a fraud. You take a loan, you don't disclose it in your accounts, you file false accounts with the red herring prospectus at the time of the IPO. And then when you get back the money, you have to pull out 50 crores of cash and compensate the people you took the cash from, which means that your company is going to be awash with fake payments, with bills that don't represent anything real. Which means your balance sheets are going to be toxic and fraudulent in the Raju style for the next several years till you clean it up. And Raju's problem was he could never clean it up. He picked up a lot of infrastructure projects very quickly, right? He needed the money to pay somebody off. Now what do these brokers do? They have hundreds of bank accounts across hundreds of branches with names like Ramesh Kesar, Ramesh Shah, R.K. Shah, R. Patel, Ram Patel, Raj Patel, Kumar Patel, like a Daba, Kalidal, Pilidal, Aloo Butter, Aloo Paneer, Aloo Paneer. And they'll file all these applications for allotments of shares. And the shares surely is oversubscribed. And then the moment it's oversubscribed, it lists and it goes shooting up. It goes shooting up, they buy some more. Then poor jokers like me, who never got any shares allotted, we applied for 100, we got 5. We say, secondary market mein khareed this. So we buy 100 more. 2 days later the price crashes, they've exited. And you are left holding the baby. Your lambs for the slaughter, boss, you're dead. That's how it works. It's people like you who get screwed. That's the stock market for you. The stock market is an elaborate device controlled by a clutch of financial wizards and brokers who fraudulently transfer wealth from millions of victims, euphemistically called small investors, to stockbrokers, industrialists, and professional financial jugglers. It's a mechanism to take your money and give it to other guys. And to make you willingly part with your money, they have to make you believe that there's something in it for you. Actually, you are the fall guy. So, which brings me to Warren Buffett. Every market has a fool. If you don't know who the fool in the market is, it's probably you.